So today we're doing a retrospective on Overboard, also known as Shipwreckers in America. Overboard is, shall we say, an action-adventure game developed by Psygnosis and released in 1997. And just like many other people out there, the first time I played this game was on the 1997 European Demo 1 disc. And honestly, I instantly liked the pirate theme of the game, because at the time, one of my favorite movies was Cutthroat Island. And I also liked the idea of controlling a ship, like instead of a regular character. That seemed really original to me because at the time I hadn't seen anything like it, so it really helped the game to stand out to me a lot. And I remember I used to play the demo like all the time, as a kid, but I never really played the full version of this game up until recently. And to my surprise, the level from the demo 1 disc is actually not in the game. Which is really a shame because I really like that level, but at the same time I think it makes the demo 1 disc a lot more special, In terms of presentation, Overboard has a very colorful and cartoony design, very much like Crash Bandicoot or Cooler World, I would say. I like how you can see through the water, and when you sink the ships, they actually remain there, even after you die and restart the level, which is really cool. I also like how the clouds float on top of you. I think all of that give a really nice 3D effect and depth to that world. The graphics are of course outdated by today's standards, and I think only people who grew up in that era, like me, and experienced the transition into the 3D and the whole 5th gen gaming revolution can fully appreciate them. Personally, I thought the graphics were quite impressive back in the days. Another thing I like about Overboard is the music. I think it really captures that pirate vibe, and I think it really complements the visuals and sets that adventurous tone, And of course, the rest of the sound design is really cool, and overall, I think it's all an amazing blend in my opinion. Moving on to the gameplay. As I've mentioned earlier, you get to control a whole pirate ship. And so you need to sail through 5 different regions: the Caribbean, the Inca, the Arctic, the Industrial, and the Egyptian regions. And so each region has like 3 levels and a boss fight, and that's like total of 20 levels. And I gotta say the boss fights are quite difficult, and they will drain your patience. What you need to do is to learn the attack patterns. But yeah, you will die many times, before you beat a boss. Now, something that combines both the gameplay and the visuals, I like how each region has its own visual identity. It's something I really like when video games do, because from visual point of view, it really shows the creativity of the designers, and in terms of gameplay, it gives you that sense of progression, like it really motivates me to play it, and makes me want to see what the next area looks like, So having visual variety really helps to keep the player engaged, in my opinion. Moving on, your mission in each level is to take down and conquer the ports that are heavily protected. And when you conquer a port, it functions as a checkpoint in case you die. And you will die a lot in this game. Like, Overboard is very hard. First, it takes time to get used to the controls and how to use your weaponry, and then it's really hard, to shoot the enemies while at the same time trying to avoid their fire. One of the things that I hate in this game is the fire-throwing enemy ships, because they are hard to avoid, they move really fast, and they can deplete your life bar in seconds. And so when you catch fire, your crew starts jumping overboard. I guess that's where the game takes its name from. But you can save them and replenish some of the energy that you've lost. You can also throw fire on the enemy ships and save some of their crew and replenish even more of your life bar. And that sounds great on paper, but it's actually really hard to do. Avoiding flame is the biggest challenge in this game, I would say, and if you're lucky, you can extinguish the fire at the nearest waterfall, but those are not gonna be around very often, and it doesn't help that the game is not very generous with giving you extra lives either. Like, you start with 3 lives, and you're gonna have hard time not losing them or replenishing them. It's like a constant agony, I tried to look for cheats online, like for unlimited lives or something like that, you know, that would make my experience a bit more enjoyable, but I didn't find anything. So I just wish the game offered more lives or was a bit easier. I think that would make it a lot more enjoyable. But yeah, you have to be very careful and strategic, and learn the controls. Like, Overboard is not for weak nerves. So like, try not to rush, you know, and take your time while moving forward. Something that I found very useful is the option to change the camera. Like, depending on the situation, you can choose from 3 different camera views, which makes it a bit easier to overcome obstacles, or even spot hidden areas. And another thing that I found really helpful is using the map. But in order to reveal it, you need to collect all the bottles that are scattered throughout the levels and contain the pieces of the map. And so I found the map particularly useful for the labyrinth-like levels where you can get easily lost. So Overboard is a really hard game, and it requires you to learn how to play it. Sometimes it can be really disheartening, but I really like how different it was and still is from other games. And I really like the presentation, you know, like it has that retro charm to it. It's not a classic game, because not many people know Overboard as much as they know Crash Bandicoot or Taken 3, for example, right? I would say it's a cult classic, a hidden gem, or rather a hidden treasure, like the ones that are scattered all over the game, you know? But yeah, I think Overboard is definitely worth checking it out if you are into retro games. And so I hope you enjoyed the video. Check out my channel, and until next time.